Greenland has garnered significant attention in recent years due to its strategic location and vast natural resources. As glaciers continue to melt, new sea routes are emerging, crucial for both global trade and energy supply chains. This positions Greenland at the center of a geopolitical struggle involving major world powers and regional independence movements. With Russia and China ramping up their presence in the Arctic, the U.S. is determined not to fall behind. It was during Donald Trump's presidency that the idea of purchasing Greenland was first floated. While initially dismissed as a political stunt, this proposal has sparked intense geopolitical debate, raising critical questions. Why was Trump interested in Greenland? How does U.S. strategy in Greenland relate to countering Russian and Chinese influence? Could Russia and China form an Arctic alliance in response to U.S. ambitions? This analysis will explore these questions and examine whether Greenland could serve as a strategic asset for the U.S. in the Arctic. Greenland's geopolitical and economic significance. Greenland is an enormous, resource-rich region in the Arctic, covering approximately 836,000 square miles. It has a small population of about 58,000 and is heavily impacted by climate change. Melting ice is uncovering valuable mineral deposits and making Arctic shipping lanes more accessible. Trump's interest in Greenland was rooted in national security concerns. In response to his statements, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen firmly rejected the notion of selling Greenland, calling the idea absurd. Yet, Trump's proposal underscored how Greenland is central to global power competition. The U.S. military presence in Greenland. The U.S. has maintained a strategic foothold in Greenland for decades. In the 1950s, the Thule Air Base was established as a key missile early warning and satellite tracking facility. Now known as Patuxent Space Base, it plays a critical role in monitoring potential intercontinental ballistic missile threats from Russia, China, and even North Korea. If the U.S. were to gain greater control over Greenland, it could expand military operations in the Arctic, increasing pressure on both Russian and Chinese activities in the region. These military considerations were central to Trump's Greenland proposal. Greenland's natural resources and strategic value. Beyond its military significance, Greenland is rich in valuable minerals, including gold, platinum, zinc, copper, nickel, cobalt, uranium, and rare earth elements such as neodymium, dysprosium, and praseodymium. These elements are crucial for renewable energy technologies, batteries, and military applications. China has long sought access to Greenland's rare earth deposits, which has raised alarm in the US and Europe. Beijing's efforts to secure mining deals in Greenland have been met with resistance from Denmark and the US, which fear China's increasing dominance in the rare earth market. Had China's expanding interests in Greenland. China's involvement in Greenland dates back over a decade. In 2015, Greenland's finance minister visited Beijing to discuss investments in mining, hydropower, and infrastructure. Chinese firms attempted to invest in Greenland's airports, buy abandoned military bases, and even establish a research center near the capital, Nuuk. The Trump administration pressured Denmark to block Chinese investments, arguing that Beijing's interest in Greenland was not purely economic, but also had military implications. This concern has continued under the Biden administration, which has actively discouraged Australian mining firms from selling Greenland-based assets to Chinese companies. Russia and China's response to U.S. Arctic ambitions. Russia has the world's longest Arctic coastline and has heavily invested in the Northern Sea Route, supported by its fleet of icebreakers. China, branding itself as a near-Arctic state, seeks to expand its influence in the region through its Arctic Silk Road initiative. While their Arctic cooperation is based on mutual interests rather than a formal alliance, both nations share a common goal: limiting U.S. and NATO influence in the Arctic. Trump's Greenland proposal drew strong reactions from Moscow and Beijing. Russian officials dismissed the idea as destabilizing, while Chinese nationalists questioned whether Trump's rhetoric on Greenland signaled a more aggressive U.S. stance on Taiwan. Russian state media used Trump's statements to promote nationalist narratives, suggesting that if the U.S. could expand its territory, Russia should reclaim lost lands. Despite rhetorical posturing, Russia and China have been pragmatic in their Arctic strategies. While they collaborate in some areas, their partnership is based on temporary interests rather than a deep strategic alliance. The future of Greenland: independence or U.S. influence? Greenland has been moving toward greater autonomy. In 2008, it voted for self-rule while still receiving an annual subsidy of about $513 million from Denmark. Some experts speculate that Trump's comments may have unintentionally encouraged Greenlandic leaders to pursue full independence, potentially as early as 2025. If Greenland does seek independence, China could attempt to increase its influence by offering investments in exchange for resource access. Russia, too, would prefer an independent Greenland over one under U.S. control, fearing a stronger American presence in the Arctic. Conclusion: the Arctic power struggle continues. Trump's proposal to buy Greenland ignited a geopolitical firestorm that remains unresolved. Greenland is now a focal point in the global power struggle between the US, Russia, and China. While the US views Greenland as a critical strategic asset, Russia and China see it as a battleground for Arctic dominance. Ultimately, the future of Greenland will be determined by its people. Whether Greenland aligns more closely with the US, seeks independence, or falls further under Chinese influence remains an open question. What is clear is that Greenland's importance on the world stage is only growing, and the Arctic will continue to be a hotspot of geopolitical competition. Thanks, and stay tuned for more updates on this evolving issue.